In order for me to get to the next level, I've got to bring people in smarter than me. I've got to put my ego, my pride to the side. You can't be Superman and run a business. You got to be the Avengers. You got to have a team around you that's smarter than you at other aspects of the company. You got to protect the brand.
Damn.
Jayson Waller here, True Underdog Podcast. All the underdogs out there. First, I want to say thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias out there. I want to talk today about ego and pride and how it slows you down. Think about this. We all have an ego somehow, some way, and we all have pride. And those two things are not good for life. They're just not good. They take control of some of the decisions that you want to make to better yourself, to better your family, to better your business. There have been times in my life where I've let my ego get the best of me and I have failed from it. And I've learned from it. One of the times is when I first started running my own company. I had a lot of people who had college education. They were smarter than I was. I didn't finish high school or college. And they worked for me, and I was intimidated, and I struggled, and my insecurities got the best of me. And I then realized after, that I got pushed in the corner and we couldn't grow the company and people didn't want to listen. I had to take control, and I had to have some confidence, and I had to have some swag, and I had to be the leader that they needed me to be. So what did I do? I made an example out of a couple of reps that didn't want to do their job. I fired them. I took control. I started hosting sales meetings. I started having confidence. I started building trust and value in the employees to believe in me, for me to believe in them. And I pushed my insecurities to the side. But what happened was, as I continued to grow the business, ego got in my way. Ego then took control that I was invincible. I came from this insecure sales rep, non-college educated person to run a business that's now profitable. This is back in home security days from about 2005 to, I ran a home security businesses from 2005 to 2014. And during that transition, this ego came up into my life where I thought, I can fucking handle anything. I can overcome anything. I'm the shit. I know everything. And that wasn't the case. I started to grow the business realizing there are things I don't know, things I don't understand. And I had to take a seat back and go, I need to hire people around me that are smarter in different things than me. I don't understand installations of home security. I don't understand inventory management. So I started hiring production managers and started hiring warehouse managers, trying to better the team. Fast forward, I continued to hire some people around me. I got into another security company called Power Home Technologies, where I became an equal partner running that. In that venture, I learned that things that you do can affect you. Things you do now can affect you a lot longer down the road. Ben Brookhart, who's a partner of mine, he's our CSO now at Power Home Solar. He was the CEO and founder of Power Home Technologies, and he ran a good business. And I sold my company, ISI Alarms, to that to be an equal partner there at his business with him and Eric Randisi. And we are both really lucrative, intelligent, high energy alpha males, a personality. How do we get to the next level? How do we grow our business? How do we do things? Well, I had to check my ego. I was always the number one in my business. I was always the number one sales rep. I always controlled my destiny, and I had to sit passenger, and he was the number one at that home security company. And I learned a few things. I learned, you have to trust people more. Ben was really good at trusting people and having faith in people and, allowing people to empower and grow, which is very important. And I struggled with that. I was a control freak. Somewhat I still am. And I would inspect what I expect, and I would unlayer and unravel and dig deep into each department. And I wanted to be able to do the work in each department so I understood it, so I couldn't get taken advantage of. I've had years of people taking advantage of me. Well, Ben wasn't very good at that, and I wasn't good at empowering people. So I think we both took some lessons from each other during that venture. Long story short, that venture only lasted 18 months. I wanted to get into solar. He didn't. It was hard to have two leaders in a business. And I felt handcuffed. I felt I couldn't, I had a vision to see things down the road a little bit better than he did. And he had a vision, closer to deal with people in a relationship status that I struggled with. So lo and behold, we sold the company and he decided to stay in home security. And I decided to open the solar business. And I did it with a little bit of money in my pocket. And I gave that money to the business over the next 18 to 20 months. And I didn't collect a check for that time. And I sold my house on the lake and reinvested it in my business at that time. I was dealing with lots of failure. I was struggling. I was getting taken advantage of. I was trying to empower people and I was getting burnt. I was everything you can think of. I didn't understand the construction business. I didn't understand that 80% of our cost of the deal we're going to have to spend before we even see a dollar. It's construction. You get paid at the end of the job. You're out marketing and sales and design and interconnection, all these other things that I had to learn. I bit off more than I can chew, but I didn't quit. And I was riding out, my pride and my ego, which hurt me early in the alarm business that I had to adjust. I struggled a little bit in the second alarm company where I had somewhat of an ego and felt like, all right, I got to sit passenger. And I played a good number too. That was never the issue. The issue is I wanted to do other things. They wanted to stay in home security. But in the solar business, doing this by myself for the first 18 to 24 months was really hard. And I mean by myself as the only one really there working. I mean, we were transitioning through different management, different sales reps. I was using the method of what I learned at Power Home Technologies. Let me hire this person and empower them. And then they would take advantage of me. And I was like, oh, and then I would try to be prideful. I could do everything myself. Like all these things were fighting against me. And I decided early in 2016, after we'd been open a year and we lost over $1 million, and I just sold my house and moved to a home, paid cash for a home that was 1/5 the size of the home we lived on the lake. And I said, you know what? And here's another thing. I reached out to friends, business owners. Some of them listen to the podcast now. Some of them are like, man, I wish I would have invested in that company. And I would ask them, hey, man, I've got this book of business. This is me sticking my ego and pride to the side, right? I got this book of business that, I can't capture right now. I've sold it, but I haven't put it in yet. I have a cash flow problem. And I kept hearing, no. I don't want to be in the construction company. I don't want to be in a solar business. I'm not interested. I was told no so many times. I love that because now every one of them motherfuckers wishes they would have invested in the business. They wish we're that fucking unicorn that came by that they didn't jump on. They fucked up. And that's okay. I ain't mad at you. I'm happy. I got more to give to the people that earned it, to the employees, to the partners, all that, right? But I put my ego to the side. I put my pride to the side and asked for help and was told no by everybody. Everybody told me no. They mocked me. They laughed. Have fun doing solar. I love that shit. I love the challenge. I love people pushing me, telling me I can't fucking do something. I love that. That is fuel for my engine to keep roaring and keep going. And I'm not about, look at what I did. I'm like, hey, I prove results. I show numbers you can watch from afar. I turn haters to fans. That's the goal. Get them to follow you. Get them to work for you. Get them to be on your pod. You get them to just fucking buy all in. But in their deep, dark soul where they said no, and they thought I didn't have it, and that we didn't have it, and that we couldn't do it, there's regret on them. And that's okay. I'm glad that it happened. Things happen for a reason. It made me tougher. It made me grind harder. It made me work harder. It made me fire 80% of guys and ladies that weren't doing their job in 16. I have this 80-20 rule. I believe every month you should turn over and replace 20% of your staff. They're holding those departments down. I truly believe that. If you want to grow like this, like a rocket ship, you got to burn and churn that bottom part of the associates in your company that aren't cutting the mustard, that aren't hitting their KPIs. You got to replace them. You got to keep pushing everyone forward. And started to grow the solar company. It started to take off in 17. It's like, whoa, started getting a paycheck. We switched to American-made panels and doubled in size. And then in that time frame, we were flirting with around 40 million in sales for the year. and I was in waters I wasn't used to. And I had a choice to make. Do I let my ego take advantage of it and try to do this myself with Kevin, who's my marketing guy? I love Kevin. He's my right hand, but he's my marketing guy. I'm running the company. I'm building the company. I've got account managers. I don't really have a CFO. We really don't have a president. We don't have a big corporate structure. Do I hire someone to take this to the next level and bring in a private equity partner? What do I do? And I remember 4th of July weekend in 2017. I sat there thinking about it. I was in Myrtle Beach at a beach house with my family. And I said, in order for me to get to the next level, I've got to bring people in smarter than me. I've got to put my ego, my pride to the side. You can't be Superman and run a business. You got to be the Avengers. You got to have a team around you that's smarter than you at other aspects of the company. You got to protect the brand. I didn't even know what the fuck EBITDA was till 2 years ago. I say that all the time. That's a fact. I didn't learn that till 2017, 2018 timeframe. I just didn't. And that's okay that I didn't. But what I did learn and what I did figure out is that if I can find somebody that can be fully vested, fully interested in the growth of our business and care and love it as much as me, but they had credentials and experience and wisdom that I don't have, it would only better me and better the company. So I brought in our president, Steve Murphy. He's been in billion-dollar transactions. He's been in the medical industry. He's been with board. He's been executive chairman in large boards. He's done a lot of cool things. That allowed me to bring someone in and me to get wisdom, to be able to align the stars of how do we be more corporate? How do we structure an HR team? How do we get an accounting team? How do we grow what we need to grow? How do we do it the right way where I don't have to do everything because I can't do everything. I'm not great at everything. I'm great at some things. I'm great at motivation. I'm great at vision. I'm great at being a leader and executing and making decisions. I am not great at financials. I am not great at learning EBITDA. I'm not great at corporate structure. I'm just not. And I had to set my ego and my pride on the passenger seat here and shelf that in order to help the company. And so I brought somebody in. I was able to admit that I'm not the smartest, that I'm not the best. And I was able to take advantage of that and put somebody in that place to really help it out. And that was a game changer for our business and a game changer for me. Then we continued to grow. We added a CFO. We added a chief sales officer. I brought Ben back. Ben went and did home security for 5 more years. We grew this company that's worth several $100 million to $1 billion business. And he gets out of the security business and, he's like, hey, I'm going to go start a solar company. I'm like, hell no. Come over here and join it and listen to this. He was the number one at Power Home Technologies. I had my company, he had his company. We came together and joined his company and I had to sit passenger. In order for him to come work for me, he had to feel like a partner. He had to be respected like a partner. He had to have some gain share options. He had to be able to have a seat at the table, but he had to sit number two. And he does sit number two. And he's here to testify, not on this podcast, but he has testified on other podcasts and in life that sometimes you have to shelf your ego. Sometimes you have to shelf your pride in the better for yourself and the better for the whole business and what's great for everybody. And I was a good number two, and Ben was a good number one, but I'm a great number one, and he's a great number two. And that makes us that much more effective. Now, I've got a great team, and today's lesson really for you guys to hear is you've got to put that ego to the side. You have got to put your pride to the side. And you've got to do what's best for the masses, for the majority of your team. Maybe you're in sales and you're like, hey, this guy's better than me, but maybe I can get him promoted and I'll move up. It's about building and developing leaders. It's about building a brand. It's about doing the right thing. And it's about staying focused and not letting ego and pride affect your decision. It's not about you or what you look like or who you are, what position you hold. Life and business is like a puzzle, and every piece is completely different, but you need every piece to complete the puzzle. And it's important that you realize you can't do things alone. You can't work and build a business alone. You can start it, you can get it going, but if you want to take it to the next level, you're going to need to bring partners or executives or people better than you in different areas to be better. You can't be in a family and marriage alone. Sometimes you need someone to talk to, a friend, a therapist, a doctor, a family member. We're human beings and we are here to have each other's backs, but you can't hold everything in. Whether it's in business, you can't do everything. Whether it's in life, you can't hold and do everything. People want to be able to help each other out. People want to be able to be that puzzle and make it fit perfectly. So that's the message for today. Put that ego, put that pride shit to the side, build your business the right way, build your business for you, for your brand, for your people, and for the future. As long as you stay to that message and you stay to that grind, you will be successful. Bam!
And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit trueunderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!